And what if, as I said earlier, my daughter were raped and I told her not to have an abortion? What if she did anyway? Here's a crazy question. What if she did, but because it's illegal, she goes and does it in an unsafe manner and dies? Then how would I feel? Well, pretty bad, I suppose. Then again, what if because it's illegal, in my hypothetical scenario, she doesn't have abortion at all, which granted puts her through all the pain of going through pregnancy, but then maybe she has a child and then maybe me or somebody, someone other than her, if she doesn't want it, can care for it, and then that kid can grow up to be, people have argued, another argument, that abortion should be okay if the child is going to be critically disabled. They're going to have some major problem if you can, sense that through the ultrasound or something. I can just imagine the scenario for that. Two parents, sitting sort of nervously. Two possible parents. One woman is pregnant. They're sitting in a doctor's office. He's just done some tests. He's bringing back the results, and he says, well, look, I have some bad news. It seems your child is going to be blind. Oh. Furthermore, she's going to be deaf. And, there's some blind people who can get through their life, and there's some deaf people who get through their life, but a person who's blind and deaf, look, we have to conclude that that's no life worth living. Simply put. So, Mr. and Mrs. Keller, I'm going to have to recommend an abortion. I know you looked forward to this child. You already named her. Helen, was it? Helen Keller, yes. Well, I don't suppose Helen Keller would have really enjoyed her life had she had one. For those of you who don't know, which hopefully are few in number, Helen Keller, a very, very famous person who was both blind and deaf and had an extremely productive life. More so than probably the majority of people with sight and hearing. I mean, a lot of us sit around all day. We waste our gifts, It's sad. Of course, it's hard to determine. I'm like, you don't just say, oh, that guy's wasting himself. Well, maybe, I don't know. Whole other issue. What I'm saying is, in that particular instance, letting the child die because it's not going to have a good... Maybe it'll have a good life. What about Stephen Hawking? He's just in a freaking wheelchair and it's like this. And he's like an incredibly smart guy, and ironically a great communicator. Writes all these books meant for the masses about black holes and warping space-time and crap I totally don't even get. So people can have lives, even with disabilities, even with poverty. Child will be born into incredible poverty. It'll be another mouth to feed. We can't feed any more mouths. Guess what we really ought to do is make sure mouths can be fed then. Welfare systems or something. Or it doesn't have to be government. It could be private, people just being generous to each other. Wouldn't that be nice? If there was enough community in the world that there was always someone to take care of the child, always someone to make sure there's food, and hopefully someone to prevent rape from happening in the first place. Or even unplanned pregnancies of any kind. But of course we are flawed, which, and then we come into these scenarios, and then what do we do? The woman wants an abortion, they say. She can have an abortion. What does the baby want? Or does it not count as a baby? 2 hours and 2 feet. What changes? So I'm pro-life, generally. But I can sympathize with the pro-choicers. And as I was saying, I was on a track a little while ago. If my daughter were raped, I'd tell her don't have an abortion. If she had one anyway, And let's hope somehow it was done well enough that, she was healthy and fine. And then she came to me and said the baby's gone. I had an abortion. Well, I wouldn't throw her in jail for it. I mean, I can understand. Maybe I find the doctor, throw him in jail. I don't know. What would the penalty be for illegal abortions? And how do we... Well, I should hope there's leniency for people who've been raped. They shouldn't have to suffer any more than they've already suffered. And there's a question, of course, of people who claim to be raped, really they weren't. Because the rape trial could easily take longer than 9 months. Or even if maybe you don't know who the guy is, and there's not even a trial, Maybe she was drugged. It happens. I don't know. A woman has a right to choose. A baby has a right to live. We need to do both of these at once. We need the magic box with the artificial womb. Wouldn't that be great? Or something. And of course, all these questions on the start of personhood can also be applied to stem cell research, wherein we make this group of cells that start growing. If you let them grow long enough, it becomes an embryo, which, according to the pro-lifers, is a person, which means we should not kill it, and we should... things... Maybe I'll do that in another video. It gets tricky. So, the one thing I can say really for sure is, hey, people in the debate, please have respect for each other. Understand the other side's viewpoint. We're all essentially motivated by just a desire to help people. Just that these things clash in this particular scenario. And we prevent unwanted pregnancies, then we won't have anything to argue about. That'd be great. Or provide enough support to the victims of rape or of whatever. Provide enough support to them that, they can bear the burden of those 9 months. And then someone can help take care of the child, and someone, etc., etc. Maybe. It's a very tricky thing. Well, my prayers go out to everyone who's been raped or victims of such crimes. And my prayers go out to the children, whom I think they are children. Sad to say, because that means children are dying. My prayers for everyone. And hopefully we can find a way out of this. Thanks for watching. See you later.